2 tries each. Wellington led at one stage by 17 points to 0. The assistant coach and former All Black Tamati Ellison was with Ben Castle.
Well, kia ora, Tamati, thanks for joining us. A great start for Wellington, and as Canterbury do, they've fought back. What's your take on the half?
Yeah, tēnā koe, BC. You're right. I mean, we come out flying, but as you say, Canterbury side, they're good at withstanding pressure. It's just important we come out after the break and reapply it.
There's a bit of tempo in the game, though, this week, after last week, and probably some tough words at the start of the week to get this game right for you.
No, I think the care's always been there when you get the bus back and you get Colsey back. I think everyone lifts, so it's great. Yeah, looking forward to the second half.
Yeah, good luck for that. Thanks for joining us.
Also assistant coach of the Crusaders, Sam Whitelock. Well, the longer the game's gone on, the better he has become, and Dane Coles with an immediate impact on the game. What a thrill for us for this round to have the type of players like Sam Whitelock, Aaron Smith, Dane Coles, Julian Savia. Fabulous players, all involved in the 2015 Rugby World Cup success for the All Blacks. Sam Smith in jersey 20 will stay on the field, given Caleb Delaney is not able to continue. We're ready to go.
Yeah, the players are all here, Ken. There's no referee.
Castle needs to put his microphone down and get the whistle, brother.
Well, I'll just blow a scrum straight away if that's...
Oh, how about this? On Sunday, Fury and Wilder, Chapter 3. What do you reckon, Mushu? I'm going for Fury.
You know what? I am as well. It's been a great contest, hasn't it? No doubt about the fact that it's two guys that don't like each other very much, so that's always pretty good for a scrap, isn't it?
Well, they put plenty into it, don't they? They put plenty of chat. What's it?
Oh, here they come. Cup of tea, Vicky. Let's close back on.
Oh, even the small crowd here, they've enjoyed it. They're giving him plenty as he runs back out through that tunnel. The players as well. We can see the funny side of it.
I can't say what I'm thinking because it's a family show, but his pants are back on and we're ready to go. So Wellington will play with a 5-point advantage at the beginning of the second half. That means nothing in the game. So we've got an enthralling 40 minutes to come. Shea Fihake. Good first carry. Nice. Kello. Good carry and the penalty.
Look, that's totally a penalty. And Paul Williams is correct in his interpretation of the law. But in my mind, it didn't need to be a penalty. It had no influence on the game. Yeah, just sometimes I think we've just got to let the game flow so that it's not so stop-start.
Brodie McAllister. Is that carry? Rock is at 3. Romano's at 6. Poor Hippie. Romano. Jaeger. See Mackay pointing back to the right side. Some decoy runners. Drummond. And Sam Whitelock. He lets it go early. And Luke Romano with a great run and an offload. Princep. Terrific show of skill from Romano. Now he carries strong into contact. Mataele. Elusive. Drummond. Whitelock. Off a wide ball. Mackay. Nice job, Duplessis. Kirifi.
And a lift.
He has made that play a big part of his game. He leads the competition for turnovers won with 7. Duplessis, make that 8.
Well, he won't die wondering, Duplessis Kirifi. He's that type of player, and he's been under the scrutiny of the referee already because he hasn't always got it right on the night. But in that instance, he did. He got his hands on the ball nice and early, showed an intent to lift. The player didn't release, and he got it bang on.
It was a big play too, because Canterbury's starting to roll their sleeves up, starting to get momentum. Needed to happen.
The 5-man line out called by Dane Coles. James Blackwell. A real workhorse of Wellington and Hurricane forward packs. Ruben Love splits the gap between Mataele and Mackay. That's a smart kick from Ruben Love. And now Mackay on the return. Drummond. Mataele now goes to the line, loses the ball. We're back for the penalty.
Well, look, if you're using this game as a coaching tool, there's example
7,
B,
not supporting body weight.
where Kirifi gets it wrong, and that's the balance that he probably needs to get right in his game. If he gets that right and is making better decisions, he's one of the best in the business. Quite clearly this time, not supporting his body weight, is on his knees, and then he gets his hand on the ball, it slows it down.
Romano at the back of the line out, it's lost forward. James O'Reilly getting ready to come on. Dane Coles with a very solid 44-minute contribution.
He's got a big part to play, Dane Coles, before he leaves the field. This scrum here, there'll be a lot of pressure from Canterbury. It's a natural area for Leonard Brown on this loose head side for Canterbury. Up against Alex Fidel.
Judd. Love. Assor with the ball over the top for Julian Savia. He's into the backfield, the chip and chase. Fihaki. Mackay. Huyson. Good chase. Good kick. Good pressure from Wellington. Can they convert? Or can Canterbury exit?
Hold in front, Red.
Don't disagree with you, Ken, that it wasn't a good kick, because it was, but I certainly think that there was the opportunity to pass Julian Savia. He had Huyson on his outside. If he passes early enough and then keeps himself on his feet, excellent pass from Arthur, but he gets Huyson on the outside. He opts for the kick instead. Quick line out from the Lions.
Sam Smith with a carry. Duplessis, Kirifi with the offload. Dane Coles with some footwork. Close to the touchline, but he stays in the field of play. Numia. Powerful run from Numia. He's inside the 2 meters. Judd. Love. Quick ball. Smith. Will throw himself at the line. It's a penalty advantage. They've got numbers to the left, Wellington. They just need to keep their head. They don't. We're back for the penalty.
Stop there, guys. Yeah, 14 red. 14 red, offside.
Well, from the line out,
14.
Dane Coles down the right-hand touch.
Shot call.
created something, and then that forced the problem. Coles and Karifi in tandem as they swing it back. There's a really good line in the midfield. Nice and tight there. Romano was the one who got penalised for diving in on the tackle player, and this here is where they needed a back as a first receiver. Unfortunately, I think it was Blackwell who found themselves to that first receiver, then just tried to throw the cutout pass. They had a 4-on-2, couldn't execute. Instead of getting more than 5, they're going to take the 3. 5 or more, I should say. Reckon this is the option, Ben?
I think it is. They've got to stay ahead with points there in the way Ruben Love's kicking. And, well, no, Dane Coles. There is that substitution for Dane Coles. Well, just shows you the way he's played. They're 34 years old, 34 years young. Been brilliant contribution. James O'Reilly on there. Welcome back to rugby, Dane Coles.
Fergus Burke. Tafilo. It's been good tonight, the left winger. But Tafilo. Richard Judd.
I'm pretty sure there's some smiling faces over on the Sunshine Coast, having watched Dane Coles' efforts tonight from the All Blacks coaches and selectors. We've got some great depth in the hooking position in New Zealand at the moment, but with Dane Coles on your side, your attack and your team just takes on a completely different shape. They'll be thrilled with his contribution tonight to see him fit and healthy.
And McAllister for Romano. And now Fihaki with a good carry and a brilliant offload. Henry Stowers. They're on the fly, Canterbury. A quick recycle, a penalty advantage. Oh, and a card.
Never back onside. You've gone straight onto the ball.
Yeah, that's lovely rugby from Canterbury. Fihaki with the carry and the offload. And then Henry Stowers.
Never back onside. Okay, guys. Scrum.
Alex Vidal will sit down for 10 minutes.
Wow, yeah, they've opted for the scrum off the back of that. Have Canterbury. Just love the way he's nice and upright here, Fihaki. Big and strong, powers through one tackle. Because he's upright and strong, he's a big man that managed to hold that defender off him so he could pop the pass to Stowers. And it was an illegal piece of play that only enabled Wellington to survive in the short term, Ben.
Yeah, Pekaho Cowan, number 18. All his experience is going to be called upon here. They'll need to drop one off. Cyril.
Yeah, time's definitely off. Number eight's coming off, guys.
Which is Keelan Whitman. He'll have to leave the field. It's always tough. Yeah, but that's the numbers and all the pressure now right on Wellington.
So mindset of a back in this situation, Ben, is it's just such a great place to attack. There's so much space. It's hard as a defender on your line. Forward's mindset completely different, isn't it? Especially with the man down in the scrum.
Well,
the backs will be lucky to get it, I'd imagine.
I'd say so. Getting it back to Henry Stowers, that's the first part of the equation, making sure that the feed from Drummond is accurate, getting it back, then the options open up. The hardest place to defend is a loose forward as well. You've got to hedge your bets. Really, do I push into that scrum as a Wellington loose forward to stop the momentum at scrum time? Do I
very good.
half look out to the back line to make sure I can get off and make that tackle and help at that breakdown? It's tough.
I certainly know as a prop, you're asking that first and foremost that those loosies are staying on, aren't you? Because the last thing you want to concede is a pushover try.
Well, and then Canterbury as well, their set piece over so many years and so many campaigns is so strong in this area.
Set, hold!
Drummond's a runner.
Advantage.
Stowers is a runner. Here's the offload. The ball is untidy. And now Mataele, a one-on-one, and enough room that he's able to make for himself and score a nice individual try. Manasa Mataele gets a double.
Well, everything was a mess, right from the scrum. Wellington illegally brought the scrum down. Judd came through early on Mitchell Drummond, so he sort of fumbled the ball away, and then it kind of laboriously made its way across to Mataele, so that's no rhythm, that's a mess. He's just fired it out there, and then all of a sudden, you know what? I'm going to have a dig at you. He just gave it a little stutter step, used his power, and individually went over to score in the corner.
Well, it's one of those